1 second to make sure the sound is good. I hope everybody's doing well, having a great day. Tomorrow, January 21st, 2 p.m., 24-hour content marathon. It's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. Audio is good. Okay. Let's see. We're going to go public. So we are going to be starting the stream 2 p.m. Eastern here on, we're going to be starting the stream here on the Square and Compass Promotions YouTube channel. And then from there, we're going to be going on to different channels, different streams, different platforms. We are going to start tomorrow by talking about, at 2 p.m., we're going to do some guided meditations, some breathing exercises, just ways to help us kind of get into the flow, help me get into the flow. So I'm going to be doing this for 24 hours. We're going to answer some questions. We're going to talk about Masonic history. We're going to talk about ways to grow Freemasonry. It's going to be an absolute blast. Hello, 006. I hope you're doing well. I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button. And then I'm going to be going on to, as the 24 hours progresses, different channels, different subjects, different discussion points. We're going to be going on to, for example, talking about, maybe I'll jump onto, let's say, Twitch. Maybe I'll jump onto Discord. Maybe I'll do an X space. Maybe I'll do some Facebook Reels. Maybe I'll even try to keep live tweeting, live posting. Basically, it's going to be a really fun stream. I can't wait for it. So yeah, we're going to start tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Hello, 006. Please hit the like and subscribe button and let me know if you have any questions or thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. And mark your calendars tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 24-hour content marathon. I'm trying to figure out the correct hashtags to use for that. So I'll let you guys know. Mostly, though, today it's going to be getting ready for tomorrow. So I'm not going to have a 1 a.m. stream. Next stream will be 2 p.m. January 21st, starting right here. Part of a 24-hour content marathon. Should be a blast. But for now, let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. Any ideas, positive, negative, or neutral? I'd love to hear them. I do not know what that is. Not a troll. Usually when people say they're not a troll, they are a troll. I hope you can hit the like and subscribe button, though. Any thoughts on Freemasonry? I don't have any specific topics. Today is just hang out, wait to see who joins, and wait to see what you guys want to chat about. Again, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. Well, there you go. All right, let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins. And mark your calendar tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 24-hour content marathon. We're going to have a lot of different subjects and topics. It's going to be really fun. So, I mean, everybody supports me, Science Truth, because I'm so awesome. I have Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Christian, Sikh. They all support me because I'm very handsome and very cool. And when you're as handsome and as cool as I am, that's how you get this support. And Freemasonry, nor I cannot make you a king. Yes, it is, Ryan. So hit that like and subscribe button. Let's give it some time. Let's see who joins. No particular subject today. Just waiting to see who jumps on the chat to say hello. I am very handsome. I can't speak for you, Science. I have no idea how you look. I'm saying I'm very handsome. Freemasonry is not Jewish, nor is it the Kabbalah. I got dry lips. I've grown to accept it. I need to drink more water, clearly. How's it going, Fred? Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good day. I have no hatred towards anyone or anything, other than, I guess, trolls, including God. I do not hate God. Um, well, thank you, Science Truth. I hope you hit the like and subscribe button and mark in your calendar tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 24-hour content marathon starting right here on YouTube. Thank you, Fins and Feathers. I be vibing. Um, I got a big forehead. I know. I've grown to accept that. Thank you, Cass. I'm going to assume you saying that because you think my voice is cool. So I will accept that. Freemasonry is not about power. Fake Freemasons or scams will tell you Freemasonry is about power, but it's not. It's not the case. Just so you know, Freemasonry will not get you power of any sort. I suppose, except in a metaphorical sense, power over yourself, in that you can learn to maybe be a bit more disciplined, over kind of the more negative aspects of yourself, I suppose, or the more challenging parts of you. Like, we all have our challenges, we all have the things we deal with, and how we choose to deal with those things. Freemasonry gives us some tools to master kind of the rough parts of our ashlar. Little Leaf, would it make a difference if I was? I mean, I think Greenland is still free at the moment. We'll see what happens, unless something's changed unless something's changed in the news, of which I'm not aware. Um, I want to make this world a better place for all as well, Science. The way I choose to do that is through Freemasonry, but that's not the exclusive way to do it by any means. It is about a brotherhood of ideals. It's also about the belief that the world can be made better through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. That is true. Clandestine Masons, well, this gets complicated. Here's what I would say, and I've been a Mason for 20 years. Look, I have no issue with somebody who decides they're going to put a sign above their garage and they're going to call it like Jonathan's Masonic Garage and create their own little group and borrow symbols from Freemasonry. Look, if you want to do that, so be it. It's not my place to stop anybody from doing that. So long as they're being clear and honest with their membership. Look, this is not a recognized Masonic body. You are not able to travel and visit recognized lodges if you're a member. Yes, we have fun, we hang out, we do our own thing, but we're not recognized Masonically. Then, hey, so be it. Scams are when, for example, you get a random message on Facebook saying, like, join the Illuminati of Masons or the Masonic Order of the Illuminati or some such nonsense, and we'll guarantee you riches and power and whatever else it is. That is nonsense, and that's very dangerous. Yes, absolutely, that's the key. Well, Little Leaf, kind of put you in a bit of a timeout. I got a big nose. What can I say? Please hit the like and subscribe button. Shoot about cemetery symbols. I love visiting cemeteries. When I travel to different Masonic, to different, cities and countries, towns, I always try to find the local cemetery, and I always try to see if potentially they have any Masonic gravestones and grave symbols. I'm not sure what you're referring to, the 3 thrones facing different directions. That's not something about which I'm aware. Empathic veteran, I love cemeteries. I'm glad you do. You're like me. I love them as well. I love anything old. I love anything quiet. I love anything peaceful. Cemeteries are all of the above. And I love scary movies and horror movies. So I guess it makes sense I would love graveyards as a consequence of that, or cemeteries. Oh, I mean, it could be the worshipful master, senior warden, and junior warden. That's true, but they're not thrones, right? But they are offices and chairs that face different directions, east, west. Well, I guess, one WM faces west, SW faces east, and SW faces north. I mean, there's not really a Hebrew order within Freemasonry. Freemasonry has borrowed or, adopted some symbols from Judaism, but also from many other different mythologies, theologies. Primarily, what it borrowed from is stone Masonic guilds of the Middle Ages. Um, Science truth, there is no core value of Freemasonry. Rather, every Mason has to find his own value within it. For me, the core value of Freemasonry is the belief that the world can be made better through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. I would say if I had to pick a core value, I would use the Anderson Constitution from 1723 and say the core value is the belief that men who would otherwise be at a perpetual distance can come together in brotherhood based on being good men and true and honorable. Um, we are not the real light. I would never say to anybody that Freemasonry is the real light. Freemasonry is one way that you can make the world a better place. But the key thing is it's just one way. It's not the exclusive way, it's not a single way. Others may choose religious approaches, which is fine as well. Joshua Johnson. Josh Johnson is one of my favorite comics right now. I'm going to assume that's not you, though. Being awesome, Red Eyes. Please hit the like and subscribe. Well, Fred, you're going to have to get used to that if you're on this stream. We got a lot of trolls who jump on and say Freemasonry is satanic, but Fred Kellner is correct. Freemasonry is not satanic. But people are going to believe what they're going to believe. Hopefully, this stream can help convince people of the truth of what Freemasonry actually is. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And please mark in your calendars tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. It is neither technically nor in any other way satanic. Freemasonry did not destroy monarchies. I will say, though, certainly Freemasonry throughout the world, especially in the 17th and 18th century, tended to have more of a left-wing leaning, focused more on democracy. I mean, Simon Bolivar in Venezuela, Jose Rizal in the Philippines. I'm trying to think of what else. Garibaldi in Italy. I mean, I guess George Washington in some ways, but keep in mind there are also many pro-monarchy Freemasons, including King George himself. You can't get much more pro-monarchy than that, as well as Joseph Brandt. He was a pro-monarchist Freemason. I do take my booster shots. I feel like you're saying that sarcastically, but I get the flu shot and the booster shot every year. I would say Freemasonry for Dummies is a great book. Fred Kellner got ahead of there. Well, Freemasons don't encourage getting vaxxed. I encourage getting vaxxed. I've known some anti-vax Freemasons. I personally think, though, that getting vaxxed is a responsible thing to do as a member of the community, not simply for yourself, but for others. So, yeah, and I don't simply referring to, a single vaccine. Most people nowadays, because of how we kind of what's happened in our lives, when you mention vaccine, they tend to think COVID, which I've got my COVID vaccine boosters, but the flu shot, I've got my for travel hepatitis A and B vaccines, my yellow fever vaccine. The one vaccine I haven't gotten yet, I keep meaning to, is tetanus. I like the way you said that, Terrifier. What's the secret in my Freemasonry? What's the secret in your Freemasonry? The secret of my Freemasonry is not a secret. It's that the world can be made better through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. You're not wrong, KAOSBC. The internet is absolutely uncontained chaos, which makes things interesting. We do not invoke the dead. I do not think aliens exist. I think we are alone in the universe, which makes it even more important that we find a way to make sure we survive. Because if we are alone in the universe, as I believe we are, then if we end up destroying ourselves, there will be nothing left to appreciate the beauty of the universe. I am not a lodge. I'm a member of a lodge. I'm actually a member of 5 Masonic lodges. So there you go. I try to be funny. We're going to give it some time, see who joins. Again, I have no specific. When you say reptilians, I'm assuming you're referring to the conspiracy theory of human beings who are, or reptiles who are pretending to be humans. I do not, because they don't exist. There's no such thing as a reptilian. Um, we have none of those things. We do not have a Necronomicon, nor do we have the Ark of the Covenant, nor are we wizards. It'd be fun to be a wizard, but we are not. I don't believe in magic, nor do I believe in aliens. Sorry, Fred Kellner, you are incorrect. There are no aliens. It's just us. I mean, I can't know for sure. No one can, but I like animals. Honestly, I like animals more than most people. I have a cat. My cat is named Bandit. I love my cat. Um, I do not have any animals other than a. I don't have any animals other than my cat. Yes, I believe in the whole universe, life has exclusively happened on this planet. Now, I'm not convinced that, simple non-intelligent life could have formed, like bacteria or amoeba. But the idea that any of it evolved to the point that it's intelligent in the way we are, that is not something I believe in. I also don't believe the universe is infinite, right? If the universe was infinite, then by nature, you would have to eventually get to a point where not only is there alien life, but it's alien life that looks exactly like we look and acts exactly like we acts exactly like we are, right? Based on an infinite universe, but I don't believe the universe is infinite. I just think it's very, very big. I think it's so big that we'll never get to the end of it, but I don't believe it's infinite. Um, Well, it's expanding, but I don't think new stuff is being added into it. I don't think, for example, there like whatever exists as of right now is what has always existed and will always exist. It's just expanding in the space between the stuff is expanding. I agree with that as well, KAOSB, and that's what we try to do. Many people's debts are expanding, mine as well. So don't worry, you're not alone. Mark. But I would also hope that my subscribers should be expanding. So please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for being here. I do not have the credibility to speak on astrophysics. That's a very valid point. I'm giving my opinion. I have no clue if I'm right or wrong. I'm just giving my opinion for whatever it's worth, and I should make that clear. When it comes to Freemasonry, it's also exclusively my opinions. However, I would say my opinions on Freemasonry come from being a Freemason for 20 years, or almost 20 years, having attended thousands of Masonic events all around the world. So, thank you, Moldy Bones. I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, I'm here for it's January 20th right now. I did this morning. I'm doing this for a bit today, and then we'll be back on tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern with a full 24-hour content marathon. Um, I don't like the term worship or pray. I use the term invocation. That's a better term to use because prayer usually is when people reference prayer, they're referencing a specific religion, right? Like there's Christian prayers or Muslim prayers. Freemason, we have invocations because every Freemason will have his own supreme being. It could be of the Christian faith, the Muslim faith, the Jewish faith. And as a consequence of that, they will all have their own, when Masons have an invocation, they'll all be thinking of a different supreme being. I am Canadian, born and raised in Winnipeg, currently live in Windsor. Because I'm very handsome. The thing is, Prenum, if I'm so handsome, if I didn't have a big nose, I'd be too handsome and I wouldn't leave any women for the rest of you. Um, Fly guy, what I am is handsome. That's all that matters. Good afternoon, Michael Moore. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to mark in your calendar tomorrow. We'll start the 24-hour content marathon. It'll be a lot of fun. So I hope that you'll join me for that. I love maple syrup. Who doesn't? Maple syrup's the best. Um, There's nothing better than maple syrup. For now, though, we're going to give it a bit of time. We're going to see who joins. Jelly Jams. It's going to start on YouTube. It's going to start here, 2 p.m. Eastern, the content marathon. Then it's going to move on to different platforms. I'm going to be live tweeting, live streaming. I'm going to try to go to Discord, Twitch. Basically, my goal is to try different things, try new things, try to grow the channel across various platforms and various media. And I'm hoping that to increase not simply or not exclusively my YouTube subscribers, though I love to do so, but also my, also to grow my Instagram followers, those following me on Discord, those following me on Twitch, X, Blue Sky, etc., etc. Yes, Jelly. The best way to do that is set your calendar tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Also, a good way to do it is if you are following me, make sure that you also are hitting the notification bell, right? Because if you're hitting the notification bell, what happens is every time I go on stream or post something, you'll get a notification, which again helps the channel. Media is growing, Yeet Leaks. At least Square Encompass Promotions is growing, so please keep up the good work. I'd very much appreciate it. I think Kanye loves the Freemasons, you know? I choose to believe he loves the Freemasons. I personally am not a fan of Kanye, though. I mean, honestly, he used to have great, music, and then he lost his mind, and he's crazy. But I liked his, I remember, what was it, Run This Town? I thought it was a great song. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, he's gone insane. Well, I think credentials is not the exclusive important thing. Having said that, I do also believe when it comes to credentials, you don't want to give them some deference. Not just credentials, but experience, observation. There's a lot of different things that you want to weigh the value of. I would not say he woke up. I'd say he lost his mind. I would say maybe either literally or just speaking more metaphorically. I don't know what your question was. Father D. Thomas, I might have missed something. I have a big nose and a gap in my teeth because I'm very handsome. And if I didn't have a big nose and this gap in my teeth, I'd be too handsome and it wouldn't be fair to the rest of the men out there. I'd leave no women for the rest of you. He doesn't seem to be doing well anyways, but who knows? I mean, I'm not going to take away the fact that I do genuinely, think, especially his earlier stuff, he was very talented as an artist. It's unfortunate that, he kind of seems to have broken. Well, thank you, Smoke. I appreciate that. Dream Seeker, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Well, Peter says I'm a freak. Fair enough. Jan says good answer. Thank you, Yansig. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Mark in your calendar tomorrow, 2 p.m., 24-hour live stream. It'll be a lot of fun. Hello, Mark Beauchamp. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button. And I hope that you're doing well. We are just going to hang out a bit longer, wait to see who joins. Again, no specific topics today. This is just a hangout chat. Tomorrow, how to grow Freemasonry, Masonic history, 1777 to 1800, give or take. It'll be talking about it'll be a lot of fun. So some breathing exercises, some guided meditation. we will enjoy it very much. Today, I'm going to be getting ready for it. So, right, I try to be generous. I mean, I don't want to, by any means, be unfair to you guys, to the men out there. I got to leave some room for the rest of you. I'm a Freemason. I've been a Freemason. This is the middle right now. I've been a Freemason for 20 years. Um, it's not a cult, and in some places it's struggling, in some places it's doing well. I would say North America, it's still struggling, but it's getting better. Just keep putting the time and effort in. We can accomplish some pretty great things. Well, I do not agree with that, Hoff, because I've been a Freemason for 20 years. If anybody killed your grandma, then you should contact the police. I'll take that. McGregor's a handsome fella. That's one of the biggest reasons why it's not a cult. The fact that it does allow us to leave. That is true, Father E. Thomas, but by the same token, someone not in a cult would also say it's not a cult. The problem with a lot of these conspiracy theories against Freemasonry is that it kind of forces you into a tough spot because no matter what you say, people can use that as a conspiracy against you, right? So if you say Freemasonry is not a cult, the easy answer is, of course, you would say that if you're in a cult, right? Like you're kind of, no matter what you do, you can't win. And that's what makes it really tough. Um, but I don't want to leave. See what you've done there, Father? You've created a situation where I can't win. You got to be careful with that. A lot of people will do that in situations, right, where they'll give you a choice, but it's not really a choice. It's a trick. You can create a conspiracy about everything. I could say Father D. Thomas is out there committing crimes. And if he comes on the stream and says, no, it's not, no, I'm not, my response would be, of course you would say that. You're not going to admit to committing crimes. And then you're screwed, right? All right, it's not a cult, Father. If you keep calling it that, I'm going to put you in a timeout for a second. Oh, well, then he does commit crimes. Well, in that case, you heard it here, so the police should go find him. I was a lawyer, Fred. Actually, I was never really a lawyer. I went to law school, I graduated. I did some work in legal aid clinics, but I never really practiced law. But I did graduate law school, which is crazy to think it's been that long. Well, because if the opinion is repeated frequently, what happens is it detracts from the rest of the chat and people find it less interesting and don't want to stick around. One of the biggest challenges with doing a live stream is trying to balance wanting to have different opinions on, but not wanting those opinions to become like not having the same opinions repeated over and over again by the same people in the chat. Because at that point, I have to start repeating myself to respond to them. That drives away other people who might be interested in watching. Working a live stream, it's not as easy as people think. It's not the hardest thing in the world. I'm not going to pretend it's like rocket surgery, but it does have its own challenges. So I don't know if you can do that, Fred. I don't know how that works. If you can take the bar without going to law school first. Um, I mean, when you say care, do you mean do I like? I have no issue with the one or the other. I don't like to wear it myself. I don't like to wear it for a couple of reasons. The first is because I'm in a wheelchair. So I find if I'm wearing my Masonic ring, it hits my wheel a lot and you hear this sound a lot. Also, I'm always worried about losing it, and some of it can be very valuable. So I keep it safe in my apartment. I have it appraised. I have it insured. All that jazz. Um, what do I have? What do I get out of my non-cult? I like the way you said that as well because it's me. Everybody gets something different out of Freemasonry, right? I get to feel closer to my grandfather who passed away before I was born, which is really cool. I also um, get in a privileged position to help others, which I think is a very valuable thing. So yeah, there's those two things. I'm glad he enjoyed it. I'm also sorry he passed away. It sucks. I'm a single child, but my um, I have my Masonic brothers, but I can only imagine losing a brother, how challenging that must be. So nothing but nothing but my condolences on your loss. I mean, I always know the term Lewis as being like as being a second generation. Cool. Well, so Burr, it's not that there's not two sets of Freemasonry. There's actually, you could argue there's a poop ton of different sets within Freemasonry, or you could argue it as being just Freemasonry and various different subsets. There is um, Scottish Rite and York Rite. There's also Shrine. There's also youth groups. There's also Eastern Star. But generally, what I would say is there is Scottish Rite and there is York Rite are the two most common kind of appendant bodies within Freemasonry. Um, It can. I, as a general rule, like I don't wear anything, even my past master's jewels. I don't wear those when I'm in the lodge. I prefer just to keep my suit blank almost. I don't know why. I just got used to it for whatever reason. Um, that I, for whatever reason, I've always preferred to. I don't even have pins on my suits when I'm in a lodge. Um, I'm allowed to speak on Eastern Star, but I don't know a ton about it. It started in, if I recall correctly, 1850 in Missouri. It's an order for women. Men can join as well, who are Masons. It was initially started as a way for women who were related to Freemasons, either their mother, sister, daughter, wife, to join. Um, the symbol, the five pointed star. It's meant to represent five different women in the Bible. I always forget who they are: Esther, Ruth, Martha, I think Naomi, and are meant to represent five virtues that those women represent. So, um, yeah, it's one of those things where it's a valuable part of the Masonic family. In many ways, it does represent like a lot of the best parts of Freemasonry. They have the memorization, the ritual, the civic engagement, and it's a really cool thing. Because of Masons, and good for you, Dream Seeker. I'm going to assume London, Ontario, but that's awesome. I'm doing well, liability. I am as high a level of Freemasonry as you can be, which is third degree Master Mason. I'm also the highest office one can be, which is a worshipful master. So there you go. Shoot, liability. I'll do my best to answer them. I can't make any promises, but I'll do my best. It does, Brother Michael Moore. You are absolutely correct. It does. Casper, that's what I third degree master. That's awesome. So you've got some family members. My dad and grandfathers And I have an uncle who are Freemasons as well. So it's always great to have the family connections. You don't need to have the family connections within Freemasonry. A lot of people think that's the case, but it is not. In that, I know many people who joined Freemasonry who never had any family members who were a part of Freemasonry, and I know many people who joined Freemasonry who have brothers and fathers and grandfathers. Everything is different. Windsor's building on Olette is the most beautiful building within Freemasonry, but of course, I'm pretty, shall we say, biased in one direction. And we do have our coffee club Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday, 8:30 to 10:30. If you want to ever come out, just get in touch with me, and I'll make sure you get in there. It's just $2 for bottomless cup of coffee. Hello, D. Craigson. Thank you for being here. Oh, I mean, Chicago's incredible. I've been to Chicago dozens of times. I love it. It's my favorite city in the world. Honestly, I've probably been to Chicago over 100 times. It's absolutely my favorite place. And so Chicago is incredible. I think it's the greatest city in the world, at least North America. And I also love Detroit. Detroit Masonic Temple, biggest in the world. Sorry, Windsor's the best, but I'll give Detroit number two. Nothing's wrong with number two. It's almost as good as number one. Clandestine lodges, they do. I mean, there are some clandestine lodges that are just happy to do their own thing and don't try to stir anything up or claim to be Masonic. They just claim to have, board Masonic symbols for their own group. I don't have any issue with that. But it's the ones who stir up conspiracies or make promises about you'll get rich, you'll get famous. That does drive me crazy. Um, Whoa, Kenya. I'm not going to stand for any of that nonsense. Detroit's an awesome city. I love it. I'm right across the river from it. I'm there all the time. It's a great city. Let's not go shitting on Detroit. It's the greatest. Um, well, then your wife should go to jail. Memory Minuto. Detroit is awesome. Detroit's great. Gets super, super underappreciated. Loopy. So this channel is quickly becoming the Detroit versus everyone stream. Uh, Detroit is awesome and deserves way more love than it gets. I mean, relatively speaking, like with everything, the number of Freemasons in Detroit, it was much higher a few, I guess, decades ago when the auto industry was booming. But that was true because as a city grows economically and has more prosperous, you're going to get more Freemasons there as well. And we absolutely, we absolutely, there was a big Masonic population in Detroit in the 50s. Loopy, what I am is handsome. That's what matters. Um, well, they were. I mean, and that's also why, as a city grows, again, Freemasonry will grow therein as well. Loopy, well, what I am is handsome. That's all that matters. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. And I hope everybody is doing very well. I hope you all mark your calendars tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 24-hour content marathon. It's going to be a blast. I do not know what the left-hand path refers to. Everybody takes their own path within Freemasonry. There is no single Masonic path. There is no single way to do Freemasonry. There's no single way to travel along with Freemasonry. I do not, however, work. One of the things I'm most proud of over the last few years is we have within my Masonic building started to display local artists' artwork within the building, within spare walls that we have. And it's something I'm very, very proud of. So we display a lot of oil paintings within our Masonic lodges, our Masonic building in Windsor. I have handsome blood, Google Chrome. Please hit like and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. You can donate more than a piece. Yeah, you can donate as many pieces as you would like, Dream Seeker. It'd be great to have your stuff displayed. I try to, like I said, I'm trying to display people's artwork in and around the building. So you have to swing by on a maybe coffee club day and, or any time that works best for you to drop it off. And I make sure to display it. If you want to bring more than one piece, what we could do is, again, I can display them. I can put your information on. If somebody wanted to purchase them, they could get in touch with you. We have a lot of, refreshments, cooking in Masonic lodges after every meeting. I don't know if a cook-up means like a potluck. Hello, Spirit of Justice. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. Don't forget, tomorrow, January 21st, 2 p.m., 24-hour live stream. It'll be a blast. Not all on this one channel. It's more of a 24-hour content marathon. No, I mean, obviously, we don't want anything obscene or anything, anything hateful like that, which has never been an issue. But beyond that, I do find the guys tend to enjoy like landscape and nature paintings. It's also not exclusively paintings. We've had wood carvers in to display their stuff. We've had poets bring in some of their poems and put them in frames. It's more artwork, a variety of sorts. We've had 3D printing and 3D printers in as well. It depends on the lodge, Anne, but as a general rule, there's usually 10 regular meetings a year, so one per month with a break in July and August. And then if there's any degrees or new people joining, we'll have our ceremonies as well. Well, Dream, if you want to drop anything off, we'd love to have it. We already have Bill Ritz's stuff up now, but maybe in March or late February we could switch it up with your stuff. Hello, Dylan. Good evening to you, sir. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. So Freemasonry encourage you to strengthen your own faith. I'm a Christian encouraged, which is exactly how it should be, by the way. You go deeper into your faith while respecting the faith of others. Sure, we can do it that way. I can make sure to let them know that. We'd have to just pick a time to meet. Shoot me off an email. Get in touch that way. We'll find a time to meet and talk about... we'll find a time to meet and go over the paintings and display them and all that good jazz. And see how we'll best do what I have to do is get in touch with the shrine and let them know about it and maybe do an auction of some sort. Andrew, I don't shout people out unless I know them necessarily, but happy nuptials. Is there a leadership structure? There is. The leader of the lodge is the worshipful master, but he's not a leader in the sense that he tells the lodge what to do. Rather, it's his responsibility to make sure that the lodge follows all of the rules and regulations properly as set out in the bylaws and the Constitution. So, for example, he doesn't get to say if a motion passes or fails, but he needs to make sure that when the motion is voted on, it's voted on in accordance with the rules and regulations of the lodge and the bylaws. You have a senior warden who's like a second in command. You have a secretary who's responsible for the administrative work, and you have a treasurer who's responsible for the financial responsibilities of the lodge. And then you have various other offices which all have specific duties either ceremonial, administrative, or advancement based, if that's the best term for it. All right, just let me know. And whatever works best for you, we will figure it out for sure. I hope everybody's doing well. Again, mark your calendars for tomorrow. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you, everybody, for being here. There will be no 1 a.m. stream because I got to make sure I get myself some sleep before tomorrow's 1 p.m. live stream. Thumbhead. I do have a thumbhead. Please hit like and subscribe. Iron Mind. I do need to remind myself of Namaste sometimes when dealing with some of these people on the stream. But you get used to it. You figure it out. You know, little bit of peace is not a bad thing. We got Iron Mind with the fish. We're just hanging out, waiting to see who joins. I don't have any specific topics today. I'm just answering questions from the chat and hanging out because, again, I'm kind of getting ready for tomorrow's 24-hour content marathon. You get both, but that's okay as well. It's one of those things where you have to right? You have to accept the good with the bad, right? And the part of this too is as a Freemason, right? I'm reminded of, look, if I want to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it was located, and if I want to do so, and turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession, then I have to be willing to talk to people who are, trollish in many ways. Iron Mind. I am not a Christian. I wouldn't call myself that. I believe in a supreme being, as do all Freemasons, but I wouldn't describe myself as Christian. I mean, culturally, I would describe myself as Christian in that I'm the most familiar with Christian teachings and Christian theology in a religious kind of sense, but I'm not necessarily a believer in any religion, Christian or otherwise. Well, I mean, you can be both, I guess, but I find the more one is a troll, the less one seeks knowledge. So try to limit the trolling and increase the seeking, I suppose, is always good advice. Hindu, that's awesome. I know a few Hindu Freemasons, probably a couple. I'm not sure what a crossover thing with Freemasonry is. Hello, Rebel Duster. Good to see you again. I'm not sure what a crossover thing with Freemasonry is. Mr. Dexstar, welcome. Thank you for being here. It's a careful balance and art form, if you will. I am doing well. How are you doing? I mean, you're not wrong. Being, unfortunately, anything that is developed, humanity will perfect, even trolling, unfortunately. So there you go. Yes, my face looks like a thumb. I've learned that. Hello, Iron Mind. Thank you again for being here. I hope you're doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know if there's anything that you guys want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. And I hope you'll mark tomorrow's calendar. Thank you, Mr. Dex. It has got somebody on my side. By the way, I'm curious if any Masonic lodges are doing any Super Bowl parties. Well, you shouldn't be. There's nothing embarrassing about being Jewish. I know many Jewish people. They're good people. Being Jewish is nothing to be embarrassed about or embarrassed of. Yes, I looked like one of those stone faces. stone heads in Easter Island. Hello, I can't pronounce your name, but it looks like Japanese or Chinese symbols. Well, that shouldn't make you ashamed to be Jewish. I mean, you should never be ashamed of the actions of a government, whatever you think of them, do not reflect the actions of an individual. So you just need to keep that in mind. You should never be ashamed of, like, I'm Canadian. I'm proud to be Canadian. I love Canada. I think it's the greatest country in the world. It's not to say the Canadian government has not, at various times throughout history, done some pretty shameful things. I can accept both at the same time, as in, I both love Canada. I love being Canadian, and the action of the government concern me or have been pretty atrocious. In your case, it's even, you're saying ashamed to be Jewish, which you shouldn't be, because Judaism is not the same as being, a member of the country of Israel or a citizen of the country of Israel. And what I'd say is inhumane. If you feel like you need to talk to anybody about anything you're feeling, anything that went on in the military, I know a lot of people can suffer from PTSD in many militaries around the world. I hope you can find some people to talk to. And I hope you can find some people to, help yourself feel better. There's crisis lines you can get to. So I hope you find some people. I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, to me personally, we need to be willing to consider other trading partners in Canada, if that's to what you're referring. Hello, Cairo Beach. We got some G's in the stream. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. I hope that you're doing well. Well, Mr. Dex, if you ever want to display any of those sketches at the Windsor Masonic Temple, by all means, we're always looking for people to help with that. So we're always looking for people to display artwork. It's one of my favorite parts about Freemasonry or my Masonic building is the fact that we provide space for artists to display their work. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to say what's going to happen, but I appreciate the sentiment and the idea of looking beyond America for trading partners. Well, I don't know. It depends on where you're from. Like, not every Masonic lodge or Masonic building, I should say, provides this opportunity. We do in Windsor. It's one of the things I'm incredibly proud of. But it's not something that every Masonic building does. It is something I recommend buildings consider. So if you are part of if you're part of a Masonic lodge, you have a Masonic building, I really hope that you will consider, if you look around, if you have any space on your walls, on your shelves that aren't being used for anything, contact local artists. Ask them if they can, want to display their work in your building, especially if if nothing else, even if it will be exclusively seen by Masons, it's still great because Masons get something nice to look at. They get to see local artists. Maybe they want to purchase some of the work from the artists or tell their friends about it. But if you do have public spaces within your building, it's even better, right? Because what you can do is, in this case, what you're able to do is show the public that you support local artists, you support local. We within Freemasonry need to care about local artists within our community. So my day is great. Yeah, I mean, Fred, again, I can't promise. Every lodge is different, every building is different. Obviously, one thing you should do as a building is think about um, I'm absolutely hoping that they consider doing it. You can get releases signed, but it's a great way to demonstrate to the community that you care about them, that you care about the community, that you care about artists in the community. It increases the relevance, right? I've said that a million times. We within Freemasonry need to be relevant to our communities, and that includes being relevant to the artists within our communities. Oof. I mean, nothing but respect for you, Mr. Dex. If you're making large reactors, you should be incredibly proud. I do care about souls, but I also think within Freemasonry, it's not our province, right? We care about people here. If anybody were to come to me and ask what to do about ensuring their soul is good, find yourself a church, find yourself a find yourself a church, find yourself your religious understandings. The soul, that's more of a province for religion and religious space. Usually five or six. Actually, I'd say it depends. Because if it's, for example, we've had artists who do really big pieces, like the canvases are huge. And usually, based on the amount of space we have, we can display maybe four or five at most. I've been to we've had other people who are actually they're wood carvers. They carve these really small, fine pieces of art, fine pieces of wood. It's more like, you can get 20 or 30 pieces if they're small enough to fit on shelves. So it really depends, but it's one artist at a time. I will not be renouncing my Masonic. I prefer the term obligation. It's a better word for it. But whether I were to follow Jesus or not, it's not mutually dependent on renouncing my oath. There are many people who are both Freemasons and follow Jesus. Um, I do Jados Black Ghost, and you can have that same power if you started live streaming. Um, I mean, sculpting and painting, we could use some sculptures. I don't think we've ever actually had any sculptures within artwork. We've had stone or we've had wood carvings, but like no like clay sculptures. Risenanti, I don't know what that means. You can be a Freemason and a Christian in the same way you can be a football player and a Christian. If you listen to what your coach tells you, um, if you tell me, um, you can be a football player and a Christian. You have a job and be a Freemason. You can take an obligation in the military and be a Freemason. Sorry, and be a Christian. Being a Christian has nothing to do with whom you serve in a religious or theological context. Um, well, Risant T is what I'm going to call you, Risinati. I think you have a misunderstanding of what Freemasonry is. There's nothing stopping you from being a Freemason and being a Christian, including being a born again Christian, including being baptized as an adult. Um, but I would say maybe you need to focus on your salvation, not so much on mine and how you plan to get salvation, and leave my soul to me. You may understand spiritual things for yourself, and you may even understand very deep spiritual things for yourself. I'm not sure. I'm not necessarily sure that you understand them for me. I do not have blood on my hands, nor am I demented, nor do I need to take heal. So there you go. Barry Pulaski, please hit that like and subscribe button. I'd very much appreciate it. There is a little bit of hubris there. I mean, he may understand it for himself. I would not doubt it at all. And nothing but respect to him if he does understand deep spiritual things. But what I would say is, for me personally, um, I'd be very hesitant. Yes, like and subscribe. There is a time and place for everything, right? And that's a very important thing. I think Freemasonry understands that, right? Freemasonry occupies a particular space, which is the civic or community space. Religion, including Christianity, occupies a religious space, which is a different space with a different purpose and a different goal. Nothing's wrong with it, by the way. It's a very valuable thing, but it's not occupying the same space as Freemasonry. Um, I wouldn't necessarily say he's a fool at this point, but I would say he is misunderstanding some things. So you can talk about your personal beliefs, but not within a Masonic lodge at work. Like when the lodge is functioning, having an official meeting, there's no discussions of politics or religion in lodge. After lodge, before lodge, men will talk about their beliefs, and that's fine, but not in a lodge itself. Freemasonry does adapt. That's one of its greatest strengths in the last 300 years. But the issue is we're not adapting nearly as well as we should recently, and that is a problem that we're working on. Um, I understand what Masonic stands for me, and I'm very proud of that. Masonic stands for the belief that the world can be made better through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. Tuco, I'll take it. Please hit that like and subscribe button in honor of Tuco Salamanca. And mark your calendars. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing a 24-hour stream content marathon. It's going to be a lot of fun. And for, valuable reasons as well, right? It's very important that we within Freemasonry respect the rights of people outside of lodge to speak on their beliefs, and within lodge to respect the kind of rules and structures of the lodge. Yes, Total Tech is going to be a lot of fun. I'll be using a lot of different social media. We're going to try to grow as much as we can. Wasn't he? He was from Breaking Bad, right? He was the dealer in Breaking Bad. Now, I never support dealing of any substances in real life, but in a television show, I'm okay with it. Unless I'm mistaken. If he was a real dude and I'm wrong and he's a bad guy, then no, not in honor of him. Um, so there is no core belief system within Freemasonry. In the same way, there's no core belief system on a football team, right? If you were to ask what do football players believe, you may have some football players who are Christians, some may be Muslims, some may be Jewish, some may have, no particular religious beliefs. It's not a belief system, it's a thing you do. And the thing you do is ultimately to meet and to gather. It's very much kind of like a very formalized version of the guys' night out. It just grew into something with a lot more formalism to it and structure and rituals and ceremonies. But all of this ultimately is to bring men who would be at a perpetual distance together, to be good men and true. We do not worship Amaru Khan, um, nor are we wolves, nor are we sheep. We're humans and we are Masons. I mean, I'm not sure what the research is to which you refer. Freemasonry has always been like that. Now, stonemasonry, right? Stonemasonry has been around for millennia. Stonemasons developed their own rituals and practices and ceremonies as a way to transmit knowledge of their work and of their stone Masonic practices. including certain ceremonies. They had their own lodges, which were actually tents set up next to job sites. Um, but yeah, the Freemasonry, which started in 1717, ultimately was always a social group. Now, certain people who were Freemasons developed, you had some Masons who were political. They took ideals from Freemasonry, including the value of democracy, tried to apply that into their political careers. So, um, well, we do not worship the tree of knowledge. Someone's been reading and misunderstanding Albert Pike, I think. Um, as always, please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. So we do not have any prayers that say Jesus is a man. We don't even have prayers. I don't like that term. We have invocations, but they're not prayers. It's different. I've within any degree meeting have never heard Jesus was a man or anything to that extent. Um, I don't think you're being mean, but I think you're incorrect. And there can be a mean quality to telling people that the thing that they care about is not good. I mean, I would never say that about you or your faith. Um, but I think you need to reconsider what you think, and I think you need to reconsider your thoughts on Freemasonry. I think you've been fed some very incorrect, false information. Hello, John Q. Public. I hope you're doing well. Well, I'm not a 32nd degree Mason. Keep in mind, though, within Freemasonry, the first 3 degrees, that is the basis of Freemasonry. That's the core. If you got rid of those 3 degrees, Freemasonry would cease to exist. The 32nd degree, which it would be consistory or Knights of Kadosh, that's 1 degree. If you removed it from Freemasonry, Freemasonry itself would not change for 99% of Masons. I love consistory. Absolutely. I've known actually a few priests, who were 32nd and even 33rd degree Freemasons. However, what you also need to keep in mind and understand is that Freemasonry, you can't base it on a single ceremony, except I'd say the most important thing is that you base it on, or you focus on, the first 3 degrees, because that is the foundation on which all of Freemasonry rests. You don't have to, I've never heard of any Masons having to give up wealth to be a Freemason. So, of any degree. And I've known a few, most of the Masons I've known are neither rich nor poor. I've known a few Masons who were not particularly well off financially and joined the 32nd degree or joined consistory. So I can't imagine they had to give up any wealth. I think, if anything, it sounds like your boy was part of a clandestine or scam lodge. When they start asking for lots of money or to give up your wealth, that sets off alarm bells in my head that there's some scamming going on. Believe everything everyone tells you, Nate. Okay, well, you are incorrect. That's a Native American tradition to give up wealth. Freemasonry, it certainly was very popular amongst many First Nations. There's the Oklahoma Indian degree team, which is a really cool point, which I've actually interviewed in the past. Freemasonry has a really interesting history with First Nations people. Well, Solomon may or may not have been a real person, right? We don't know. It's very possible he was a mythical or theological figure, which we need to keep in mind. Well, I don't think he's making up that he loves Freemasonry, by any means. I think the idea of having to give up wealth, I mean, again, I've known enough Masons who have reached that point who are not rich. I don't know how much wealth they would have to give up, right? So, I mean, there's dues you have to pay. So I'm questioning whether it was like a legitimate lodge. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a 32nd degree. Consistory might be more expensive, but even that, I don't think it is. At least in southern jurisdiction and in Canada. I can't speak for northern jurisdiction. He may have been a real person. Again, there's not a lot of evidence for him outside of the biblical accounts, right? I don't know if we know of any actual archaeological or secondary evidence. We tend to just have the biblical accounts of him. Though I did do some research, and they have found some very interesting archaeological evidence that indicates, if nothing else, significant trading routes to Jerusalem and to Israel at the time of King Solomon, which would indicate, rapid building and public works projects and the needing of materials for that. Um, is what a prison tattoo? Are we still in school chat? What is the Overton window? Is I got a bunch of tattoos. I got this tattoo. I got this tattoo. They are not gang tattoos. They are Masonic tattoos. I mean, you don't have to get tattoos to be a Mason. It's just me and my friends every year. Um, we go and get tattoos together, and they all have some importance to me. These were the first tattoos I ever got up here, showing off my big muscles. Um, you can be a Mason and have tattoos. That's no issues. He may have Resenti. I mean, I don't know. Look, Solomon is a very important figure within Freemasonry, metaphorically. Literally, whether he is or not, though, I don't know. I question whether he exists or not. There seems to be very little archaeological evidence for it, is my point. But this most recent tattoo I got is actually the entrance to King Solomon's Temple. Um, is what a bee tattoo? I don't know. This one, this is actually Don Quixote. That's right. That's why I have this big ugly nose and big ugly face. Because if I didn't, I'd be so buff I wouldn't be able to leave any women for the rest of you. I'm not a gang member. I'm a member of Freemasonry. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button, and I hope you are doing well. Thank you all for being here. Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. That's really cool. Um, I'm going to give this stream another, let's say, 10 minutes, and then we're going to end this stream because, again, I have to get ready. We have our major 24-hour marathon coming up tomorrow. 2 p.m. Eastern, mark your calendars. On my shoulder. What I got, let's see. This is the Masonic square and compasses. These are symbols in the second degree, my favorite symbols. This is the past master's jewel. These are some math equations I like. This is in honor of my godchild. Most people do. Right, I think a lot of people, when they first get a tattoo, they love it and it becomes addicting. They get a whole bunch of them. Um, and then, yeah, eventually over time, you just slow down. Part of it because you just lose space. Thank you, Dream Seeker. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Yeah, it's always fun. Me and my friends every year going and hanging out together and getting a tattoo. It's something I look forward to. I like pizza. I love pizza. Pepperoni. Well, we'll figure that out next year. Or this year, I guess, 2026, closer to the tattoo day. I'll let you know. I will let you know for sure. All right, it's 2:20 now, so let's do this another 10 minutes. Then we will end this stream. We'll be back on, though, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. If tomorrow I have any issues as it relates to, any issues as it relates to technical difficulties, which happens, don't worry, you'll find me. I will make sure to jump back on, give you notes as to what's happening. Just don't be alarmed. Technical issues do happen. I like onions, sure. I mean, I don't love onions, make your breath stink, but I do like them. I have no idea what that means. I mean, I love Winnipeg, but I'm not there anymore. Winnipeg, though, is an awesome city, one of the best. It's funny, I don't think I ever. Well, I do not know to what she is referring. I've never heard of this pizza thing, so uh, to what she's referring, but let's just put her in a bit of a timeout. Am I British? Interesting enough, VS, my dad is British. Um, I've known, I mean, I don't want to say poor 33rd degree Masons, but I've known, you know, 33rd degree Masons that are not particularly well off. Usually, Freemasonry reflects whatever the socioeconomic and political situation is within a country, within a community, right? So if you're in, let's say, a smaller town where it's poorer, there's not a lot of money, your 33rd degrees there are not going to be, they're going to reflect what's in the town. Um, well, people do not live good lives. You just get used to it. Oh, I love pickled onions. I love pickled anything, right? Like, I love pickles. It's one of my favorite types of food by far. Pickled carrots, pickled garlic is so good. Pickled okra, pickled anything is awesome. It's one of my favorites. But I love pickles. Honestly, for my last meal, I'd get, I was thinking about what my last meal would be because I see those YouTube videos now. My last meal would probably be, amongst other things, it'd be a big tray of antipasto with like roasted red peppers, pickles, olives, marinated mushrooms, pickled carrots, all that stuff. So good. I used to travel, I still visit, but I used to go to Chicago all the time. And one place I would stop is I stopped at the Whole Foods because they had this pickled section. And I'd stock up on pickled like carrots and onions and mushrooms and bring them back home with me. Pickled asparagus. Oh, it's so good. I love pickled asparagus. And then I would, set these trays up in the Masonic Lodge meeting. So it was fun. All right, let's give it a bit more time. Let's see who else joins. Well, don't hang out with people you meet on the internet, Big C. Hang out with people that are in your real life. But pickled asparagus is great. And then I used to go to this in Frankenmuth. which is a little town north of Michigan. We used to have this. They have this like community, like a general store. It's set up like an old-fashioned general store from like an old West town. But they had this whole section in the back full of pickled things. I used to love it. I love asparagus in general. Dream seeker. Asparagus is the bomb. So I'm trying to eat more vegetables. That's on my list of things I want to do is eat way more vegetables. I'm the worst when it comes to like what I eat. When it came to health, I'm always bugging Freemasons to be healthy. Um, the fact that I'm always like bugging my Masonic brothers to be healthy, and then I have like the worst diet in the world. It's pretty terrible. So I should do be better with this, to be honest. Um, but yeah, I love pickled asparagus. So my goal is to spend more time eating healthy in 2026. I'll let you guys know how it goes. I expect you all to hold me to it. As a Mason, I should be being healthy. I was at Michael Moore's wedding, how much I loved the food there. I ate so much because it was all so delicious. And it was all the type of food that I love to eat. So at least I should be eating more vegetables, and I should be at least eating a healthy amount of vegetables as opposed to relying on whatever lettuce happens to be on my McDonald's hamburger, which is probably not the best thing to do. So, there you go. Seasoning counts as vegetables. In that case, I am getting all the vegetables I need by a mile. If I am seasoning counts. Does salt count as a vegetable? LOL, been there. So you and me both. Yes. Every year I think I'm going to be healthier. And really I should be because my dad and his whole family has high cholesterol. I have high cholesterol. I'm always thinking I need to be healthier, but never get around to it. Chips are vegetables. I'm going to be buying some chips actually because for the 24-hour marathon, uh, I need because of that, what I need is, snacks. And I'm definitely going to be getting some chips for my snacks without question. So yeah, I'm going to be getting some chips. I'm going to be getting some other snacks. Any advice you guys have for snacks, let me know because it would be awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, and what Brother Michael Moore is saying is really important and I think really valuable to keep in mind. Like, we absolutely need to be willing to, we don't want to be letting people join Freemasonry if they are having so many struggles in their personal life or financial life. We don't want to add to it. It's always better to try to get yourself sorted out personally before you join Freemasonry. That doesn't mean you have to get yourself perfect, right? By any means, right? One of the biggest mistakes you can make is thinking, and this is true for anything. If there's anything you want to start, if there's anything you want to start, if you think to yourself, I need to make sure everything is perfect, then that's not good, right? Like you don't need to think everything's going to needs to be perfect to start. Not everything was perfect when I started this live stream. However, within that context, there's a balance. There's a balance. That's why I've always suggested within Freemasonry, it's not a terrible idea to chat with them about even getting a criminal record check, just so they know, like, if they are financially struggling and if joining Freemasonry is going to put more of a strain on them, then it's fair. Yes, it's going to be me eating chips and talking about Freemasonry. You're probably right, Fred, but when I'm doing a 24-hour content marathon, I probably I get to be unhealthy. I get to be unhealthy in that one moment, or for that 24-hour period. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. This was a shorter stream than usual because I got to get ready for tomorrow. So thank you all. Have an excellent, excellent day. Mark your calendars. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. I will see you all soon. I'm going to be posting. Yes, chips are for 24-hour content marathons. I'm going to be posting a lot more stuff on YouTube and my social media, so pay attention for that. And I'll talk to y'all soon. All right, guys. And Dream Seeker, let's talk about when we're going to have the money, or have the money, geez. Let's talk about when we're going to do the, have your artwork up in the building and using it to maybe raise some money for the shrine, because I think that would be awesome. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Have a good day.